It's all about bundling. We're going to talk about it on today's podcast.
I've spent the last 20 years studying, teaching, and coaching people to find their greatness and take their lives to the next level. Along the way, it's become evident that emotions are at the root of everybody's successes and failures. Worry and fear are the enemies, and it's time to forge the armor and earn the tools to overcome the two things that could single-handedly destroy your future. Hi, my name is Michael Johnson, and I'm a life coach, a peak performance trainer, and I'm the emotions guy. It's time to take back control of how you feel, control of how you act, and control of how you experience life. It's time to become a lifer, a new breed of overachiever focused on living every minute to its fullest. We are responsible for how we feel, and no one and no thing can make us feel anything. Emotional mastery is our journey, and emotional education and intelligence is the key. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life.
What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast, and I'm so glad you joined me today because we are going to talk about bundling. What the heck? What does that mean? My entrepreneurs out there, come on now. We're going to have a little heart-to-heart because we're going to talk about your actual product and your service. Here's the thing. Everybody loves a good bundle. It's true. One of my favorite shows for a while to watch was this show called American Pickers. These two guys would travel around and they would go to junkyards and they would go to people's houses. They would go to all these spots, these antique type spots, right? And sometimes they would call these people up and find out that they had an item, and then they would dig into all of the other items that they had in their house or in their storage unit or whatever. And sometimes they would just do a free pick where they would drive around and they'd see an old house and they'd knock on the door and go, "Hey, we're looking for these kind of items." And they would go through and they would just pick out things that they thought that they could resell. And oftentimes they're antiques or older items and things that they might use later on. But in the process of doing this, and this is a great TV show. It was on the History Channel, I believe. So you should go check it out. I'm sure the episodes are on YouTube or something like that, right? So go check out the episodes. These guys are characters, and so they are a lot of fun to watch and participate with in their show, right? You fall in love with the characters and the idea. But one of the things that they were great at was finding something they wanted, and they would barter and negotiate with the person that was selling these items. Now, these weren't hard cost, manufacturer retail prices, but what they would do is sometimes the owner of the item would know kind of what it was ultimately worth, and they'd try to get a retail type price out of it. Now, these guys are pickers, so they're going around trying to find good deals on these items and then turn around and resell them. So there had to be some type of margin between what they were buying it for and what they were going to sell it for, unless, of course, they found something that they really wanted to keep for themselves, and sometimes they did. Now, what they would often do is they'd go around these houses, crawl through attics and barns and whatever, and they'd find these gems of an item, and they would say, "Well, hey, we want this item. Will you sell that?" And they go, "Well, it'll be this exorbitant amount of price." And they say, "Well, you want that price for this item?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't think I can do that." And so they'd keep looking, and they hadn't given up because they really wanted that item, right? So they'd keep looking around, crawling through the barns and the storage units and out in the back through the rust and the whatever, right? And they would find another item, and they'd go, "Well, oh, we found this other item. How much do you want for that?" And they go, "Well, what are you going to give me?" And you go, "Well, how about this?" And they go, that's a little too much, and this is a little too much. And so they had now two items on their list. They're like, "Oh, let me think about it." And they keep looking around. And as they looked around, they would find inevitably another item. And as they found that next item, they'd go, "Well, what do you want for that?" And so far, they hadn't had what they call their icebreaker, right? Their first thing that they bought that they both agreed on. And so now they want this thing and they want this other thing, but they haven't had anything that they've actually done a deal with. That's called an agreement. So if you have any knowledge about sales, you got to get some agreements going, right? So we have to have some agreements. Yes, I like that. And yeah, I'll sell it to you and you'll sell it to me. And so now we've both gotten into this engagement with each other because I've now traded you something and you've traded me something. And so we've kind of got a bond. We've kind of got something going here. Like you and I, we go way back around the corner where we bought this piece and we traded, right? And now here we are. Sometimes they hadn't broken the ice yet and they hadn't bought anything, but they really are remembering they wanted that one item, that one special item. And now they found another item is a little different price and they were closer to agreeing to buy that item at the price. And then they finally found this other item and they say, well, you know, I really would like this item. They go, well, this is a price. And they go, wow, that's way too much. And they go, I'll tell you what, I have an idea. How about I give you full price for this item? They're like, oh, but you didn't want to a second ago. Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about it. Why don't I give you full price for this item? And if I do, maybe you'd be willing to throw in this item, the second one, right? For maybe just a little bit off. And maybe you'll be able to throw in this one. But I'll tell you what, instead, let's just not think about this item or this item or this item. Let me just give you one solid big price for all three items. So we're just going to bundle that right together. So how about if I give you this much money for all three items, will you take it? Now, all of a sudden, it's not about the single cost of the first item or the single cost of the second item or the single cost of the third item. Okay, now, if you're just listening to this, you might want to go check out our YouTube channel and watch because I'm holding up items here. But if you're watching me on YouTube, you see what I'm talking about. And you look at that and you go, okay, so now it's not about each individual item. So they're not actually looking at the price of each one. They're looking at the big number. And the big number oftentimes is maybe a split because I've done the math in my head. However, in almost every instance that they did that and that they bundled on this show, they got the deal. Because people love bundles. We all love bundles. It's just what it is. There's something about it like, oh man, so I'm going to get all of that for these three things. Oh, sure. Well, I don't even really like that second item. And the third item, well, gosh, I probably would have given it to you for way less, but I'm going to get full price for that other item. Right. And so sometimes, and it can be presented in a lot of different ways. You know, another way they would present it is, well, I'll take that first item that you wanted and I don't really want to pay full price, but I'll pay you full price for that if you'll give these two things to me for free. And they're like, well, I don't really care about those two things. Yeah, I'll give you those two things. Pay me full price for this. And so what that is effectively, it's a bundle. Uh-oh, Chewy fell off. All right, so it's a bundle. And so what you have to take from that, if you're an entrepreneur, is you have to start to understand that you have your products, you have your services, and you have to start to think about it in a different way. Like sometimes the people that you're selling, you have to know your person, you have to know your avatar, your person, you have to know your people and what they like to buy and what they don't like to buy. And sometimes you have to take what you have, your product, your service, and you have to bundle it differently. Go, you know what? I'll give you the item they really want for free. I'll give you that for free. And people are going, wait, what? You're going to give me that for free? And you go, yeah, all you have to do is buy this thing over here. And they're like, well, yeah, sure, I'll buy that. You can give me that for free. And so you can do this in lots of different ways. There are lots of creative ways. And through the years, there have been some amazing marketers that have preceded us that have really learned and understood how to do this in lots of different ways. And we are still coming up with creative ways to do it because of the psychology of it. Right. And I'm not saying that this is devious and you shouldn't do it devious. Make sure it's a fair trade. Right. And when you make a fair trade of something with somebody else, then they'll keep coming back and being a return customer. And that is actually way more important than the first sale. if they'll keep coming back to you and purchasing from you later and being part of your group, your tribe of whatever it is you're doing, that is way more valuable than if you can get them to buy the one thing, right? So think about this. How can you bundle? How can you bundle? There's lots of different ways to do it. If you'd like some help, please get in contact. This is what I do, right? I'd love to hear from you. You're always welcome to send an email and go, hey, you know what? I'd like some help. Is there a way we can get in? Now, there's typically ways to do that, but send us an email at info@magicforlife.com and we'll get you the proper information. But I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to talk to you. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this spurs on some ideas for you and your products and your services. So let's get moving. Let's bundle, bundle, bundle. If you know somebody that needs to hear this episode, please share it with them. #MagicForLife on the Instagrams. And if you know, well, if you are listening to this on YouTube, give us a like, a subscribe. If you're listening to on iTunes, give us a review. We'd love to read the reviews. We love to read the reviews. Let us know that you're loving Magic for Life. And until next time, every minute, don't forget it.
Hey lifers, we expect upgrades to the base operating functions of the things like our phones, cars, and even refrigerators. Why then has it not been made a priority that we upgrade the operating systems of our emotional states? We dance around the subject of emotional mastery from a young age. We have so much more knowledge in today's world, yet we're still teaching outdated methods of emotional education, if any are being taught at all. It's time for a change. It's time for an upgrade to our emotional education. Let me help you learn how to do that. Pick up your free copy of Every Minute at everyminutebook.com.